Hello, I am Nicole Oman and welcome to my channel. We have a lot to cover today because we are in the center of an eclipse corridor. This is where a lot of transformation happens, and especially in this eclipse corridor, we're feeling a bit of intensity. There's a lot of new beginnings and also a lot of endings, a lot of cycle completion. So if you're needing some support and guidance, we have plenty of information inside. Also, make sure you stay tuned till the end of my video because I pull a few cards for every single sign. You can look down at the time signatures below and click on that after you read, get your full reading, get the whole thing. I put a lot of information, a lot of specificity. So hopefully this resonates with you. And remember to subscribe to my channel to get more beautiful, precise readings that are catered to you. All right, everyone, I'll see you inside. Okay, so before we start, I just want to let you know that this is a general reading. I'm reading for all of you that are listening. So if something doesn't fully resonate, just breathe into your heart and you can ask for your own inner guidance. You're a sovereign being, so always listen to yourself. I'm also a life coach and I have a lot of beautiful support and guidance and stories that come through me. Notice what inspires you. And you can take some notes. A lot of people like taking notes to my readings. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. All right, so the first card that we have to start with is the Moon card. I'm not surprised we have the Moon card to start off with because we are in the middle of an eclipse corridor. That means last week we had a solar eclipse in Aries. And we will be finishing this eclipse corridor next week on May 5th as we connect to a lunar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio. What does this mean? We are in a huge transition and transformation cycle. This happens every 6 months, but this one is particularly potent, to be honest with you. So the sign of Aries is connected to what we identify and who we identify to. It's the roles we play, and it's also what we believe about ourselves. And that is going to transform in the next year and a half. For the last 2 years, we've been going through eclipses in the sign of Taurus and Scorpio. And Scorpio energy is all around death and rebirth. Huge transformation. So I want you to look back 2 years ago and look at who you were. You're probably not that person. We've been going through a massive transformational cycle. And on this lunar eclipse in Scorpio at the end, at May 5th, we will have another huge completion cycle. Okay. So I know this sounds funny because the second eclipse is more about the death energy and the first eclipse is a little bit more about the rebirth, but I think they're happening simultaneously. So we have to stay really in the moment with what we're going through. A lot of things in your life that are coming to completion right now is sealing off an old identity so that you can rediscover who you are becoming. And this is what's coming up for this reading. It's a lot about the rediscovery of who we are and who we are on a very physical realm, if you will. So the way we make money, where we live, maybe even those really deep family roots. You might be moving back to family, you might be moving away from family, but something that there's these big identities that you really used to connect to that are completely shifting, and we're in a different cycle. The reason why I know this is, yes, we have the Moon card, but on top of it, we have this Seven of Cups. So the Seven of Cups, if you look, he has a lot of different options available, but doesn't really know what's underneath each bowl or each cup, and has to rediscover, has to overturn rocks, has to try new things to rediscover the new aspect of yourself that is starting to develop and come online. I want to give you permission to make mistakes, to try things out of your comfort zone, and maybe even do things a little out of the norm. It kind of reminds me, this is such a silly analogy, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's like going to a store and going, I wouldn't normally wear that, but let me try that on anyway. And you go into the dressing room and you absolutely love it on you, and it really complements your body shape or whatever that might be. But really, you would have never normally tried that on, but all of a sudden you found a new look. I'm getting that energy, okay? So be willing to look a little silly. Be willing to look a little foolish and not know what you're doing. This is a time of the unknown. Because this old cycle has been completed, you have to do something else to get new results, okay? The next card that I have is in your foundational or your theme position. This is the theme of the week, the theme of this reading, and it is the Seven of Pentacles. So the Seven of Pentacles is this energy of deep roots, but this is the only card in this reading that's in reverse. This means that instead of feeling really rooted, it feels like we're being uprooted. And the things that were underneath, if you look, there's all these little coins, pentacles, right? Our reality, that were entwined in our roots. So now we have to kind of pull these different pentacles, pull these little parts of ourselves out of those roots and renegotiate what we want to identify with. So what does this mean? I want you to look at the roles that you play in your life. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a accountant, I'm a daughter, I'm a PTA meeting assistant, whatever it is. Look at all the different roles that you're playing. Look at the different things that you're identifying with. Look at the things that are taking up your time, your energy, and your money. These are resources. Not just money is your resource, your time and your energy. Where you're putting your attention may need to shift. This is a time to go into a bit of discernment, and it's also a reorganization of your time and energy, okay? If you're feeling a bit uprooted, this is a good thing. This is a really beautiful time of transition. We are in an eclipse corridor. This is transitional energy. Instead of fighting the energies, work with the energies. If you're feeling a little ungrounded, okay, what needs to change? Use these energies to make conscious decisions for change. If a role doesn't serve you anymore or it's over, it's time to kind of put it to rest. Let it go so you can start anchoring in and going back to that Seven of Cups. We have the Seven of Cups and we have the Seven of Pentacles. Going back to the Seven of Cups, we have to uproot the things that we have in our life that aren't serving us so we can start discovering new things that will take their place, right? As we go, we continue to do this uprooting energy. This might also be, for some of you, a move, a full uproot. You might be fully uprooting your life and going somewhere else, a new city, a new state, a new town, and you will develop new roots. You will ground in new roots. You might even get a completely, and I'm going to say this, you might have a complete new job. You might have, it might be like an apples to oranges thing. You might have been a nurse and now you're a chef. You know what I mean? So I want you to trust this process. And I'm also getting this energy of rest. Rest, don't freak out. Don't freak out. Don't freak out. It's okay. Everything's okay. Okay, everything's okay. It might feel a lot of change and uproot, rooted energy all at once, but let me tell you something, it looks very promising as we get to the other cards to come. Let's go to your past. So in the past position, we have a very interesting card. It's the Knight of Cups. Usually this is an energy of like a new love coming into your life. I do have a clarifier card next to it, which is the Six of Cups. This is something nostalgic. So I want you to look at certain things that you've romanticized in your life, right? So what does romance look for you? What does a heart-filled or fulfilling or romantic life look like to you? When we were younger, a romantic life might have been the flowers and the guy with the tats and, oh, look at this sexy thing. But there's something about maturing what you think is romantic. Having a cute guy sweep me off my feet was very enticing when I was in my 20s. But now that I'm pushing 40, I'm going to be 40 this year, dancing with my husband in the kitchen is more romantic. I'm maturing what I find fulfilling in love. And so I want you to put your money where your heart is. I want you to allow yourself, not just with love and relationships, but what brings you romance? Do you need to travel? Do you need to focus on, like, you might be selling insurance, but really maybe you want to work in health or beauty or something that makes you feel more connected to what you enjoy. This is the energy that keeps coming back, and there's a nostalgic feeling. My mom said to me, she's retiring, she's like, you know, Nikki, I've never been more broke in my life, and I've never been more happy. And I'm like, well, there you go, Mom, right? And it's not to tell you to go broke, but it's telling you to look at what you find what you value. So it's not just money. Yes, we would love to have all the money in the world and go on trips and do all these things, but you can do that. I know a lot of people that travel on a low budget and love their lives, and they live doing their work remotely, and that's happening more and more since COVID. So I want you to look at what you value and what your heart values, and then putting new commitments towards what this romantic aspect your heart wants in your life. Okay. All right. We're going to move on, and we're going to go to the topper card. So as I have a Celtic cross spread, this is the card that's on top of everything. This is kind of the energy I get that is dropping in from spirit. So little gift from spirit, a little bit of a higher guidance, if you will. And I have the Eight of Pentacles. Okay, so we have a lot of pentacles here. This is why I'm like, there's a lot of money stuff. There's a lot of resources that are coming up. This is also a lot to do with changing the way that you make money. Also, because we're still dealing with a lunar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio, this energy can also connect us into feeling like we're in debt, or maybe taxes, or the way that we are going to pay that off, or what we're learning around the structure of money. If you look at this card, again, we have the cycle of the moon, and we had the moon that started off this reading. There's a cycle of time that's going to happen where you're going to learn how to deal with your finances differently. Now, if you're good at finances, this is about getting a little bit more concise. If you feel like you're in a deep amount of debt, this is going through a certain education through a cycle of time to help you feel more stable, more confident, and it's like a reorganization of your money. It might not sound fun. I've had to do it in the past, but it's looking at your finances and seeing where the money's going, and maybe pulling some money back from things that you don't need anymore and reorganizing them into something that is going to sustain you further. It's a reinvestment, and it might be a reinvestment in yourself, to be honest with you. What I love about this card is she's staring at the candle. This is a process. It's a meditation process called scrying. So what you can do if you feel like you have a lot of intrusive thoughts, worries, and concerns around money that's creating a distortion where you can't see clearly, I can recommend this scrying technique. You take a candle and, oh, mine just went out. That's interesting. You take a candle and you stare at the candle until you feel like you can't stare at it any longer and allow the eyes to shut. You may find a little silhouette of that flame in your third eye. Continue to focus on the silhouette of that flame in the third eye until it disappears. Once it disappears, open up your eyes again and begin to stare at the candle. I would suggest doing this for about 5 to 10 minutes. And what it does is that fire burns away those intrusive thoughts and that distortion that might keep you from thinking clearer. I know that sounds kind of funny, but it does work, and I use it when I have too many mental interference happening and I can't see clearly. The more that you can burn away these thoughts, the more you can see yourself clearer. I'm getting a little bit, there might be a switch of your focus. We see writing, we see papers, we see this candle that's out, which I think is interesting, the candle out, on one aspect of what you were focusing on. So like I said, I keep getting this idea like maybe you were selling insurance, maybe you were doing paper pushing work, maybe you're an accountant, and you're wanting to move from the way that you made money into a way that feels more, look at how like lush all of this is. It's a little bit more kind of tangible or visceral. This looks like medicine. It also kind of looks like cooking. It looks like maybe beauty products, something that's even a little bit more feminine. So you might have had like a masculine job and moving into a feminine job, or vice versa. This also might be where you have a little bit of fear. Maybe you're in a corporate job and a corporate structure and you're needing something a little bit more organic, a little bit more, I keep getting very tactile. Maybe something a little bit more kinesthetic, a little more tactile, a little bit more hands-on, getting your hands dirty in a way. And you're scared you're not going to be able to make money in that way. But there's so many beautiful resources, not just money, resources that would help you build a business that will be sustainable in something that you really enjoy doing. There is so many different platforms, from social media to even doing something like a farmer's market or connecting with other co-ops to create an organic business that you feel really passionate about. But keep focusing on the light. Keep focusing on that flame. Keep focusing on what lights you up. And this new structure of money will come into play within the cycle of 6 to 8 months. This is something that you can really focus on throughout the entire course of 2023. By the end of 2023, when we're hitting 2024, you may have a structured business, a business plan, if you will. This is very Pentacles practical, a business plan that will help you launch your business and get it off the ground. Okay. All of that in play, right? So we have all of that in play. And then we have this beautiful energy in our immediate future. It's the Fool card, and it's a major arcana. And then it's like, you did all the planning, now you got to surrender. You got to be in the moment, and you have to go into the unknown, right? So even though you're doing all this planning, you still have to trust spirit. 0 is the number of the Fool card. This is a brand new beginning. This is also the wisdom of the present moment. What I love about this card is she's on the edge of a cliff and she's falling backwards, like taking a leap of faith. What she does not see, however, is behind her as she kind of allows herself to do this trust fall. Isn't this such a trust fall, right? She will either land in water or if you look at this beautiful card, it's not just water. There's a seed of life in the water that also looks like a safety net. The universe is saying there is some invisible safety net that you might be falling right into. You might look like that it might look like you're taking risks, taking chances, uprooting your life, doing all of these things. But I do see that there is kind of a divine organized plan underneath you. The seed of life are all these like little points of your life, or points, people maybe, right, that have connected to create some sort of energetic field that is creative and I want to say the word consistent, but it's tangible. This net is actually tangible. You will be caught. I also want to keep the phrase, keep the hope. Keep up with your hope. Focus on the light. Focus on, you are being guided. And I want to say this again, you are being guided. Even though it feels really mundane, it might feel like you're learning like these really tangible skills. Maybe you're learning how to balance a checkbook. Maybe you're learning how to do things that like you feel like you should have already needed to do. But all of these things are going to help you in a bigger way. It feels a little bit bigger than you, even though there's a lot of mundane tasks here. But keep up with the hope here. There is a little bit of a destiny-oriented feeling involved. Okay. Now we're going to be moving into certain steps. This is how we get to where we want to go. The first card that I have is the 6 of Wands. And the 6 of Wands is the card of success, shine, and being seen. The more that you commit to the things that are opening up your heart, the things that you love, I think that you are going to be seen for who you are and what you bring to the table. I also see a lot of people kind of looking at you, right? So this card, she's on stage, she's in her passion, she's putting herself out there, and people are starting to recognize this. There's an energy that I have with this card, and it's the Page of Swords. This is around your ideas and your knowledge, okay? This is an education kind of sector. So with you putting out what you know out to people, people are going to listen to you. And even if you have a little bit of judgment or, I don't know, there feels like this insecurity around your education. So say you did drop out of college and you ended up getting an education more as like an apprentice, or you got your education in, you don't necessarily, I had this happen to me. Actually, I'm going to just tell my mini story. I did go to school for psychology. And during my time in a university, I realized that the way that I was being taught 20 years ago wasn't going to heal me. I have I had a really hard childhood with domestic violence and all of these different things. And through that time period, I would go to group and I would go to a certain amount of therapy as me and my mom were leaving the domestically violent situation. And because of that, I had some eclectic training that was a little bit more hands-on. And so when I was in this like case study, very, like mental oriented therapy education, I was like, this isn't going to meet me where my trauma needs to be met. So I ended up getting my education from other sources. I spent a lot of time. I spent over 7 years. I think I spent a decade on my education, from being an actor and studying Meisner and allowing myself to express my emotions, and then going to an ashram in India and learning Ayurvedics and learning from the beautiful people of India, to apprenticing a shaman and doing ayahuasca and then letting that go, and all of these different things that I did. I spent just as much money that I would on a university education. I just don't have that paper. And I've had people, especially in the last month, and I don't know why this is, call me like, oh, you're a college dropout. What makes you qualified to do all the things you do? And I'm like, well, I can show you my resume. But that always, because we're so programmed and conditioned to believe that the only education worth having came from this university, this boxed education, that's the only way that you have credentials, is a bunch of BS, if you catch my drift, okay? So this is about, and I know I went on a tangent here, but I want to say this. If you have an eclectic education, know that you have a sense of value from your own education. Something that helps me is once in a while I'll write a resume or a business plan that will show all the skills, even the weird skills that I have. I'm good on camera. I have all these things, right? So I want you to make a list of what makes you shine. What is your education? Do not play small because you have insecurities on the path that you walked. Your path is worthy and your path is meant to be seen, because we're coming into a state of our systems needing to shift so that we can find value in things, not just what society tells us we should value about ourselves, but what we bring to the table that brings value. The more that you connect to that, the more your fire, which is very much connected to solar plexus energy, which is willpower, self-esteem, self-love, the more your fire will burn and you will be seen for who you are and you will get great success. On top of this energy, going with the wands and the fire energy, is the Ace of Wands. This is lighting you up. This is being inspired. This is about you being mentally and kind of divinely inspired. This is also a new beginning around passion. So this might be an activating energy. There might be an opportunity that comes up that will activate the passion within you. Continue to connect to your passion because it will fuel, put a little fire under your butt to move you quickly to your next adventure, to your next job, career, location, and possibly even a passionate relationship. Because the next card that I have is the Chariot. This is somebody moving forward. This is like, what a story, like light a fire under your butt and whew, like put the gas in the tank, let's go. Okay, this could also mean a move. I keep getting this uprooting. Chariot is the energy of moving. So you might get a job opportunity where you have to move. You might also have a feeling that you have to get out of the place that you're at. and be in a different place that is more inspiring. There's something about the energy of a place that will be a foundation for what you're creating. So look at different cities and see, does that have the energy, the vibration of what I want to create in my life? Once you know that, again, that Seven of Cups in the beginning of our reading is telling me, try on different ideas. Once you know what that is, once you feel ignited, you will move rather quickly, okay? And then the final card. The final card, which is our future position, is the Queen of Pentacles. This energy is someone who feels grounded and stable, maybe even financially stable. So whatever journey that you have to go through in switching your career, whatever journey you have to go with, like consolidating debt, whatever journey you have to go through with learning how to feel more comfortable with your resources, you're going to feel really stable, I'd say, in the next 6 months to a year. This is really owning who you are and feeling really confident in your skin. We are going from the Seven of Cups to the Queen of Pentacles. Not knowing what you want to feeling really stable in who you've become and who you've created, okay? I see an opportunity coming for you. So here is the Ace of Pentacles. The Ace of Pentacles with this Queen of Pentacles looks like an opportunity that is coming to you, or seeds that you're planting that are growing, okay? I see a lot of financial stability. The Ace is all about new beginning, but it's also about like the hand of God handing you a new financial outcome. So this might be good news for some of you, something that maybe you've been struggling with the last few years. But I really do see that your efforts will be coming to fruition. Okay, so that's the end of the general reading portion. And now I'm going to be picking a few cards for every single sign. You can look at the time signature below and find your sun sign or your rising sign, or maybe both, to give you a little bit more clarity on how this energy might pertain to you. Hello, Aries. Here is your cards for the week. So we start out with the Eight of Swords in reverse. A little bit of mental energy that we might be still swirling around, where we feel a little confused, we don't see ourselves clearly, and we don't really see what we're capable of. But we're coming out of that. The bonds that once have made us feel kind of stagnant and stuck are starting to come loose. And in the present position, we have the King of Pentacles. This means new opportunities for the way that we make money might be being presented. Because it's in reverse, it might not necessarily be fully online yet, but I do see the new seeds, maybe the new commitments, and the new routines starting to come into play. What I would suggest for you is to continue to take ownership of what you want. The more that you are in that I am, because you're Aries, and we just had this solar eclipse in your sign, and we're going into an eclipse season around your sign, you might have still a year and a half of really learning this new skilled job that you might be coming into. But what I'm really getting here is continue to own your power, continue to own your power, continue to own your power. And that comes up 3 times. So really know that you have the power here if you continue to stay focused on what you're committed to and stay consistent. In your future position, there's this Page of Cups. There's this kind of limitless possibilities that are going to arise for you. that can be a beautiful thing, if like having like new possibilities come, but I'm still getting this energy of staying focused on what you want. If you continue to stay focused, then any of those, when you have limitless possibilities, there might be too many possibilities. Then you will be able to focus on what ones to commit to and what ones that will take you out or distract you from what you're really wanting to create in your life. So I think this is beautiful energy for you. You are starting to get a little bit more grounded in who you are now, but stay focused to what you're committed to. All right, Taurus, happy birthday, first of all. Here's your energy for the week. So the Six of Swords is what we start with. This is in the past position. This is a little bit of a reorganization or a decluttering, if you will, of your head or of your surroundings. So if you see, there's 3 birds that are flying away, and then there's 3 birds that are pulling the boat forward. That means that there's some things in your past that you needed to let go of. Didn't serve you anymore. This might come in the form of people. It might be in the form of stuff and clutter, or it might be in the form of different opportunities that have come your way. No, thank you, right? But there's 3 that have been connected to you, maybe even from the past, that you do still need, that still serve you, and not just serve you, will drive you forward into your next adventure, the next part of yourself, because she is definitely going on an adventure. So I want you to look through your house. I want you to look through your life and see, this doesn't serve. This one does. This is the one that I'm actually going to attach my boat to, and we're going to move forward rather quickly. In the present position is a major arcana card. It's the Hermit. The Hermit is asking you to look inside of yourself and see who you are now. A big question, especially around your birthday, is who am I? Who am I? Who am I? And the reason why I say that 3 times, because it is important, because you are going into a new state of identity. And this is not, something that you have to feel bad about yourself. Like, what are you doing? What am I doing? I don't feel like this is, good enough for me and whatnot. But I really want you to see, more than anything, is your own light, your own way, and your own unique ideas that do have merit. I know this has maybe been really hard on you for the last few years, and you don't feel strong enough to do anything. But whatever, with this future position, the 7 of Pentacles, whatever you're growing, whatever you're focusing on, whatever you're tilling, is going to reap reward. So keep on your adventure, keep on your path, trust yourself so deeply, because whatever you're focusing on will reap benefit and reward in your life. All right, Taurus. Okay, Geminis, here's your reading for the week. So there is a little bit of money here, but more than anything, I kind of see a little bit of an old romance thing happening. The first card I have is the 6 of Cups. The 6 of Cups is something about nostalgia, or maybe even a missed opportunity because of what we have in the present position with the Knight of Cups. There might be somebody in the past that's coming back, that's kind of offering, giving you an offer that might feel too good to be true. Because of the 2 of Pentacles in reverse, I want to say it probably is. Sorry. Or you might be entangled in a certain mental or emotional pattern of an unrequited love situation. So we might be feeling like we're grieving or we're mourning somebody from our past. But to be honest with you, because all these cards are in reverse, I would say it was probably better off that it didn't come around, right? We might have romanticized it. What this 2 of Pentacles is telling me is we might have our head in the clouds a little bit, and we might be being distracted by things that aren't in reality, where your time best served this week is to ground and focus into things that are a little bit more concrete and a little bit more nourishing. In my own life, I've grieved and mourned people that weren't really great for me, and I was putting a lot of focus and attention on that instead of really paying attention and putting my energy into those that were there for me, that loved me, that were real. And so we might be trying to chase a dangling carrot. We might be chasing the bad boy or the one that doesn't want us, when there's somebody right next to us, or an opportunity that's right next to us that is more grounded in reality and that will sustain you for a longer period of time. Okay, so it's maybe switching directions a little bit. Okay, Gemini. Hello, Cancer. So these are the cards for the week for you. In the past position, I have the Nine of Pentacles. This means that we have reaped a reward. Maybe we worked hard on something and we did bear fruit in the past. But because of that, we might be feeling a little tired in our present position. I have in our present position the Four of Swords. This is an energy of rest and rejuvenation. It very much puts me right into the earth of we've put a lot of energy, a lot of work. We tilled the soil, we put the seeds in, we had the patience to allow it to grow. We reaped the reward, and now we're back at the dirt again. And there might be a time in the next, 4 weeks that we have to really connect to our heart. Here is this Four of Cups. She's laying in this nest with a heart there, right? And then we go into the future position with the Queen of Cups. Our heart might have shifted. Maybe the love of what we once, the finances we reaped from this business, from this opportunity, from this career, may be coming to an end, and we need to reestablish what our heart wants now. We might go through a little bit of a grieving process, but at the end of the day, I think if you listen to your heart, you will find that there is a new way of feeling more financially stable that isn't going to burn you out, or that you don't have to always continue to recede. It's something of this nature, but I do see a different way. I see your heart wants something else. So that might take you just a little bit of time to connect to and ground into. I think this energy is very beautiful, but I just want you to be patient with your process. Okay. Hello, Leo. Here is your cards for this week. So in the past position, I have the Eight of Wands. This is an energy from the past that you might have been... it's a messenger card. It's also a card of moving forward rather quickly. It's like a spark, if you will. It kind of reminds me of lighting an ignition point and things start moving forward. The problem is in the in the present position, we have the Queen of Cards. Now that this fire has been lit, I think maybe you're going, is this really what I wanted? Who am I? Am I just wanting to take action? And so instead of really having a plan laid out for me, or really asking myself if I wanted this, maybe I'm in a place of doubt, right? Doubt of this is where I want to go, doubt of if I'm ready for this. There's a lot of mental energy. This Five of Swords, you're getting in your head. And if you're getting in your head, it's okay. Everything's okay, actually. The sun is still shining. What's interesting is I just pulled a clarifier card, and it's the Sun card. You might be getting in your head, but I want you to know that even through your self-doubt, this is all going to turn out really well. The Sun card is so very Leo. You are going to shine. You are going to come out on top. Stop worrying so much. Stop worrying so much. Stop worrying so much. It's going to turn out okay. Leos, you got this. Yes, you might have done it haphazardly. No kidding. A lot of times that you can be a little impulsive. It's fine. It's going to work out okay. Just burn your thoughts. Burn them away. Get them out of there. You're going to be just fine. All right, Leo. All right, Virgo. Here are your cards this week. So the first one we have is the Page of Wands in reverse. This is telling me that you might have started something new, and at first you had a lot of passion for it, but it kind of feels like it's dwindling a little bit. And maybe we don't feel like we have that fire that we had, or we're enjoying it as much as we thought that we would have. But there's good news a-coming. In your present position, we have the Star card, and the Star card is the card of hope, the card of having a certain amount of direction in the dark, right? And it's like holding on to that hope. She's holding on by a string, but at the same time, she's still very focused on why she did it to begin with. The Star card is also a major arcana card, and stars shine in the darkness. So what I'm getting with this energy is, yes, the passion for whatever this project was may have dwindled, but continue to go back to why you started in the first place, and it might reignite that passion. Or in the future position, there might be someone that comes in to help you reignite that, or someone that comes in and validates what you're doing and kind of re-sparks that. Or you might just have someone that's very passionate. You might have some sort of passionate activation that really puts you back into your confidence and back onto your focus of what you're doing and why you're doing it. It just feels like there was a little bit of a heavy energy, but you're coming out of that and it's going to spark again. Don't worry. Someone will spark that inspiration in you, and you will feel back in your confidence very soon. All right, Libra, these are your cards for the week. So the first card is the Four of Swords. This is this energy of resting. Maybe you feel like you've been like really depleted and tired for the last 4 weeks or so, just really kind of needing rest, needing to rejuvenate, step back and allow ourselves to kind of take care of ourselves and nurture our body. We are coming into a new cycle, Libra. And as you go into this new cycle, I think it's also part of your astrological chart. So if you need to like look at your chart or go get your chart read, this is a really good time for that. But in your present position, I have this Wheel of Fortune card. The wheels of destiny are starting to turn for you, and I do see a lot of beauty in the future. We have this Nine of Pentacles that is a new harvest that is coming for you, a new abundance, right? And maybe even a new way of bringing in money. The one thing that I would say is continue to trust your intuition, trust your gut, trust your heart, and allow yourself to find different ways. I'm getting this really resourceful energy. I'm also getting this this energy of plenty. So even if you're in a state of lack, even if you feel like there's a state of lack, just know that there is plenty, and the Wheel of Fortune is turning in your favor, especially around this time in the Eclipse Corridor. All right, Libra, I hope that helps. All right, Scorpio, here are your cards for the week to come. So, interesting. It does feel like you are feeling your own energy this week. The first card I have is the King of Pentacles. This might be feeling stable in your finances in the past, maybe getting too complacent or comfortable. There was a bit of a shakeup, or there is a bit of a shakeup in your present position that is coming up. Now, the Death and Rebirth card is in reverse, so it means like, yeah, there's a death and rebirth, but it's not as like crazy. It's not like a full on, like your whole life has to die. But there is something that needs to be like, there's a phoenixing around your money that's definitely happening. The Four of Pentacles in your future position, especially in the reverse position, is telling us to be aware of what we're spending our money on. It's not to be like hoard all your money. This is the hoarding card, but because it's in the reverse, but be a little bit more aware. You might want to come out of that complacency and really seeing where you want to take some of the money that you have earned and put it into something else. This is a really good time to invest in something that you want to do, or you want to experience, or you want to learn. But put it towards yourself. I know that sounds weird, but Scorpio, put some money towards yourself. It will work out. It will produce some sort of reward, and you will have a bit of a rebirth around your finances very, very soon. Okay. All right, Sagittarius, here is your cards for the week. So the first card is the Two of Cups. This might be a connection to somebody else, usually is, and around love. So you might have started a new relationship. Maybe you're starting to date somebody. And in the present position is the Fool card. You might need to start taking the leap of faith of where you're going next, or maybe even having that conversation of taking the leap of faith. This feels like a new cycle of the relationship or a partnership. So it might be a business partnership as well. We've been talking a lot about money. The scary part maybe for you, especially in the future position, is who will I be? I know a lot of Sagittariuses, and you guys have your identity and a lot around the self as important. Not to say that it's a bad thing, but sometimes a relationship can make you feel like you're losing yourself in the relationship. But at the same time, it's just a new part of yourself that's awakening. So instead of being so scared about it, this might be a beautiful time to like really look in the mirror and see who you are because of this relationship. And notice if that's where you want to go, is to take this relationship or this partnership to the next level. I think if you do, though, it will be beautiful. But it's going to ask you to open up your heart. Right? You have to open up your heart, and you have to allow somebody in a little bit deeper for this to go any further than it is. Is it time for you to kind of let go of those walls and allow yourself to be a little bit more enmeshed in someone else and allow someone else's identity to form your own? I know that might be scary, Sag, but that might be your area of growth. Okay, Capricorn, here are your cards for the week. This is very interesting, my friendly Capricorns. All I have is the song, Stuck in the Middle with You. In the past position, we have the Six of Cups in reverse. This is a nostalgic card. It's holding on to the past, but the past is not bringing you anything that you want. Then we have in your future position, the Page of Pentacles, starting something new. You're not necessarily where you were in the past, and you're not fully ready for where you are going in the future. You need to stay really present right now. There's a death, rebirth energy. You are going through a transformation at the moment, and it might be really scary. And I know, Capricorns, you want a certain sense of security, stability, and maybe even a plan, but I don't think that you can do that. I think that you have to be in a complete state of surrender and allow whatever the universe is bringing to you to change you in the way that you need to be changed. You need to surrender. The only energy I'm really getting is surrender, surrender, surrender. It will be okay. But if you try to force anything into action, you're going to spin your wheels a little bit because you can't do it like you did in the past. And the seeds are not necessarily ready to be planted on where you think they should be planted. There might be other opportunities coming your way, so hold tight, be patient, and surrender. All right, Aquarius, here is your reading for the next week ahead. Yours is kind of interesting. We have the Lovers in reverse and the Star card in reverse. These are two major arcana. The Lovers in reverse means that you might be having a negotiation around relationship dynamics, or a past relationship that maybe you really wanted to work, that you thought was the one, that you have to kind of let go of. There's a kind of maybe a stripping of grief or stripping of what you thought it was going to be. This might make you feel a little hopeless in the present position. But I don't think that this is super hopeless. I think this is about you becoming you. I think maybe you were a little too tied to this relationship and you are identifying with it a little bit too much, and you just need to kind of release some old ties, release some old cords. Like, look at this Eight of Swords. It feels like she's bound. It feels like she has too many cords attached to her. So maybe you need a little bit of a cord cutting, maybe a release of old relationship dynamics for something that's healthier to come in your life, or that person to come back into your life and reestablish in a new way. But at the same time, it's not necessarily about them. This is more about you and what your needs and what your wants are. Don't settle for less. Don't settle for less than what you really need. I know that might be a hard pill to swallow, because it might feel like this is very disappointing for you, but I see the new direction that you're going towards is way more aligned with your joy and your happiness and where you're supposed to go. So if you have to cut ties from this old relationship dynamic, it will only best serve you, and that's what's important. Okay, Pisces, this is your cards for the week ahead. So in the past position, we have the Eight of Cups. And then in the future position, we have the Ten of Wands. There's a lot of energy about moving on, moving forward, letting the past go. And in your present position with the Five of Wands in reverse, maybe we're a little worried, we're having some self-doubt, maybe we're getting our head about it. But to be honest with you, I think the more that you continue to release what needs to be released, and the more that you kind of look towards the horizon and moving forward, the better off that you're going to be. So even if you're doubting yourself on the decisions that you're making, I just pulled one last card to see what kind of the outcome is about moving on. And I have the World card. Move on. Whatever you need to let go, let go. You are literally going right into everything that you're wanting to be. So get out of that head. Stop doubting yourself. You're doing a great job. You're moving towards a certain sense of completion, and you're also moving towards some sort of like, I don't know, the world. The world is your oyster. Okay? So trust yourself. The things that you're letting go, you don't need anymore. It will turn out okay. All right. Thank you so much for joining me for these beautiful tarot readings and also your personal readings. If you'd like to book a session or a reading with me, I have premium readings. These readings, I've been doing them for 20 years, and most of my clients have said one reading with you has shifted direction of my life, changed my focus, and they're really life-changing. So if you're needing some support and guidance, please book a reading with me, and we can dive into whatever you need, and I can hold space for you to be able to shift whatever needs to be shifted. Remember to subscribe to my channel, and thank you so much again for joining me. Have a beautiful week, everyone. Namaste.